Rabbi Henry Isaacs served as rabbi in Bangor, Maine for close to 40 years. In 1958, he was a rabbinical student at Yeshiva University and was engaged to be married.
I was going to go into the Air Force as a chaplain. My father was not happy at all. He didn't want me to go into the armed forces. And I said, but my Rebbe feels that we have to go. He says, I feel you shouldn't go. My father was a Talmud Chacham too. And at that time, I have to understand, a lot of religious people felt that the armed forces were not for religious boys. Anyway, I told my Rebbe, and my Rebbe says, it's wrong. You have to go. You have to go. So I was in a quandary. What am I going to do? So like we say, Shnei Ksuvim HaMachishim Zeh Et Zeh, two sentences that contradict each other, maybe a third party could solve the situation. And so I spoke to one of the students at Yeshiva who was older, a little older than me, who I knew was very friendly with the Lubavitcher Rebe, the Rebe. His name was Alta Metzger. And I said, Alta, do me a favor. Try to get me an appointment to see the Rebe. And it was interesting, too, at that time, in June. In August, I was going to get married. But in June, I wasn't married, so I had to go in. And Alta Metzger said, Henry, I got an appointment for you to see the Rebbe. And I told my future wife, I'm going to see the Rebbe. Maybe you should go with me. Since you're going to be part of me and we're going to go into the armed forces, the Air Force together, maybe we should go together. And one evening when the appointment was, and I was amazed too when I had my appointment, so many people were waiting online to see the Rebbe. It was an unusual feat for me to see that. We went in, the Rebbe sat down, told us to sit down, we sat down. I told him my problem, I introduced him to my future wife, and in a very pleasant manner, spoke half English, spoke Jewish, I understood Jewish, and I told him that I have to go into the Air Force. So he said to me, B'zeh haloshen, he said, if you were a pilot of a plane, you have an achrayus, you have a responsibility, not only for yourself, but for all the passengers in the plane. If you feel that you can land that plane safely, then you have an obligation to sit in that pilot seat. If not, then you have no right to be in that seat. Therefore, he said, if you feel that you can help Jewish people and land safely, that it won't hinder me of my religion, my tzidkis, then you should go in. After that interview, I went and told my father. And my father said, B'zeh haloshen, if the Rebbe said, then I agree. And so we went into the Air Force. I was stationed in a place called Limestone, Maine. On the base, there were 10,000 people, and there were about 75 Jews. After I finished my Air Force years, I became a rabbi in a town called Bangor, Maine, which was 180 miles south of that. And I was asked if I can come up once a month to serve the Jewish people in the Air Force. I was a Rov in Bangor, Maine for 39 years. I established a day school. A lot of the young boys and girls who went to the day school became observant. And all of this is because the Rebbe told me that you should go in. And my father agreed with the Rebbe.